Do you ever receive a school assignment during 2 months' time, only to begin working on it in the week before it's due? Sure, you might have forgotten about it, but you still got a week to do it, right? Next thing you know, the thought of having to do 2 months worth of work in a week begins to stress you out to the point where it paralyzes you from doing any work at all. In this case, stress was detrimental to productivity, but it doesn't always have to be that way. That being said, our aim isn't to get rid of stress completely. If we look at Yerkes-Dodson's curve taken from the rubber brain, the scenario mentioned previously is an example of anxiety and disorganization where stress is high, and here we can see that a medium level of stress can be optimal for our performance. In this video, we'll be walking through the steps from the rubber brain that induces a positive stress mindset to convert high stress into high performance. Step 1. Notice the experience of stress. Take the time to recognize that you're feeling stressed in a given moment, even if you have an assignment due soon. Identify the emotions you're feeling, whether it be frustrated, agitated, worried, overwhelmed, sad, or worthless, or all of them combined. Then, turn your attention to your physical responses. Is your body tense? Are you short of breath? Whatever it may be, there's no need to feel ashamed about what you're feeling. A study conducted by Lieberman et al. In 2018 found that labeling your feelings can activate this part of the brain, where the right ventrolateral prefrontal cortex is, which was found to reduce activity in this part of the brain where the amygdala is, which is responsible for stress detection, meaning your overall stress response will be reduced. Step 2. Welcome the experience of stress. Allow yourself to feel the stress. What led you to feeling stressed? What's at stake? Maybe your assignment is making you feel stressed, with your final grade at stake, which determines whether you pass the year or not. A study conducted by Stanton and Lowe in 2012 found that expressing emotions when stressed can help you gain focus on the issue, and therefore help create methods to overcome it. Just make sure your expression isn't harming anyone, including yourself. Step 3. Use the stress. This is where you really take control of your stress and redirect it to boost your performance. Take it as a challenge rather than an obstacle, and focus on what actions you can take to overcome the situation. Research conducted by Portion Onderdal et al. In 2022 on business owners during the COVID-19 pandemic, probably one of the most stressful periods for most, found that people who adopted a stresses-enhancing mindset were more motivated to use their stress to their advantage, so they were able to perform better and take better care of their overall well-being. This is supported by the Rubber Brain's SMR model, which stands for Stimulus, Mindset, and Response. The rubber brain states that if we encounter a stressor with the stress is awesome mindset, our response to it will be more optimal, with more motivation and energy. Again, if you have a 2-month assignment due in a week, you might break your assignment into multiple parts and distribute the workload over the week to complete it by the due date. These 3 steps aren't just limited to stress when trying to cram assignments, but can be applied pretty much anywhere else stressful. Here we have Jack, and he just lost his job. This is an especially stressful moment as he has a family of 3 to support. Before crying out in panic, he remembers the 3 steps. He scans his body from head to toe, his heart from top to bottom, and notices that he's short of breath, and his shoulders are tense. Most of all, he feels like breaking down into tears. And he does. Through this, he reflects on how the loss of his job could affect his family's present and future. His mind is clearer now. He thinks through his options and remembers his emergency bank account for scenarios just like this, which will last his family for about a month, which is plenty of time to find another job given his certifications. Jack used his stress to plan the coming month. Maybe you haven't lost your job, but maybe you're unhappy with your body. Meet Jane. During her free time, she scrolls through Instagram looking at posts of models with picture-perfect bodies. She takes a look at her own and feels insecure. As dinner time comes along, just the thought of eating and possibly gaining weight stresses her out. She decides to implement the 3 steps. She recognizes that she's anxious and notices her heart rate increasing. Just the thought of food is making her nauseous. She tells herself it's okay to feel the way she's feeling. She doesn't try to resist and shake off the feelings, but decides to reflect on her situation. By not eating, she's not taking care of her health. But if she eats, she worries that she'll gain weight. With patience and compassion towards herself, she realizes that she can take care of her health and her weight at the same time. With her friend being a personal trainer, she asks for exercise and diet tips right away. Jane used her stress to improve her lifestyle. Overall, this three-step strategy from the rubber brain can be effective and applicable in many areas of life. As mentioned in the rubber brain, the SMR model develops frameworks in our minds which allows us to respond to situations with less conscious effort. As we apply this strategy more and more, stress management will come more naturally, setting us up nicely not for a stress-free future, but a future of self-empowerment.